All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to finish up your duotone effect and to add the text. So it's the part of the text right now, right? At this point, you should have already done your sketch, and then you should have already done your duotone effect, which was this part right here in Photoshop. And then we're going to be bringing that into Illustrator. Now, I am going to give you this file right here. It's not going to have any of these things, but it's going to have the layers that have these things in it, right? It's going to have a window with the guide, which is this part on the edge. It's also going to have the text right there, and then it's going to have a section for an image. So let me delete the stuff and start from scratch, right? Here we go, here we go, here we go, and here we go. All right, so this is how you're going to get your file. It's going to be called first name, last initial, underscore duotone, underscore final.ai. So obviously you'll have to change it to yours. All right. Since we did ours in Photoshop, I'm going to place that, but I'm going to place it specifically in the background where it says image background. So file, place, and there it is, my duotone effect. And I'm going to click and drag. Now, when I click and drag, I want to look at my sketch and look specifically as to like, where is it on my sketch that I actually had that. Now, for the sketch, I'll show you right here. Let's go to photo booth. Boop. I know I showed you guys this before, but I want to make sure that I'm being true to my sketch. You can see the pug right there. You can see the word Rocky, subhead, and then the body copy. Okay, so I'm going to close that just to show you this. All right, so there's my photo. I might want it a little bit closer, so let me select it with the selection tool. I'm going to hold shift and pull it a little bit more to the corner, maybe about there. Maybe bring this a little bit down, not too much. There. All right, so now I have my background image set. I'm gonna lock it. And now I'm gonna unlock the text layer. Now remember, you have to actually click on the text layer for it to be selected. Like image is selected, text is selected. You want your text layer to be selected and unlocked. Now there's two different types of text that we're gonna do. A line of text, which is using the text tool. It's the fourth one on the left. Click and type, that's a line of text. Now, if you click and drag, you're creating a text box, all right? Which, you know what? I'm gonna just leave this off to the side. With the selection tool, I moved it over. That's gonna be for my body copy. Right here, my line of text, I'm gonna write Rocky, just like my sketch, R-O-C-K-Y. I did it with all caps. Selection tool, hold shift, pull the corner, hold shift, pull the corner, right? And now I'm going to play around with different fonts. It's on Helvetica Bold right now. Let's see what I have. If I click right here, you can see it gives me a preview for some of them at least. Some of these are interesting. Some of them are not. And some of them are not legible. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to this one right here. I had Impact, which I tend to use a lot, especially with big text, but I'm using a different one. I'm going to hold shift, pull the corner, and again, you're selecting the font that's going to fit best with your project. Notice that I'm leaving a little bit of an edge right here, purposely leaving that edge right there between the white and the text, and the same amount right there. I actually want the same amount at the top too. This is part of using your grid. It's a fake grid that's actually there to kind of organize your stuff. But for me, I think that looks pretty good. And this will be my body copy. I do need something else. Now, it looks fine right here. And yes, I could put the text right over here using the same amount of space. Let's say that's like a 1/4 of an inch right there, 1/4 of an inch right there, right? I could do that. I can make this text box right here and have the sub headline right there. But for me, when I looked at my sketch, the image was actually a little bit bigger on the R. Let me pull that back up. Photo booth. The R goes down a little bit more, the O a little bit smaller, then all the way to the Y. You can see it's conforming itself. It's actually being warped to the actual shape of the dog. So I say that because I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Now, I could change the color of it right now if I wanted to. I just selected it. I for eyedropper, or the eyedropper right here. I can make it the same blue. I can leave this as white or black, any color. But to warp the text, I'm going to select it with the selection tool, right? The selection tool right here. I select it, and then you go up to the top. You see this you might have two different things. You might have that icon, or you might have this icon, right? There are two different ones for a reason. There's an envelope mesh, and then you could do it with a warp. With a warp, these are the options you get. You could warp your text to be rounded by putting an arc. You could do a lower arc. You could do it on the upper. You could do all these different ones. Now, if this applies to yours, great. Use that, right? You could also manipulate it by changing the bend a little bit more. You could change it horizontally, vertically, right? And it previews. If you don't want it to preview, I don't know why you would, but you could see that too. For me, I'm not gonna use the warp one. I'm gonna use the mesh. With the mesh, I could control it to match the exact dog. Now, for this, I could have like as many rows as I want, as many columns as I want. You see it's actually editing it right there. Now, you might think that more columns and more mesh makes sense. It doesn't always. In fact, I like to do less so that I could control it more, right? I'm gonna do one row, and because there's 5 letters, I'm gonna keep it at 5 columns. And here's why. I could edit each one of those columns separately, and it could look very custom to what I want. So for me, because I have 5 letters, I'm gonna do 5 columns, but you should always do one row if you're adjusting your stuff. You're gonna play around with this and obviously get used to it a little bit different, but I'm gonna hit OK. And now I'm gonna pull this part, right? I'm gonna pull these parts over here. I'm gonna pull these down by clicking on the direct selection tool. So with the direct selection tool, I could click on this and hold shift and bring it down. You see it's warping that column. I could do this one as well. Click and pull down, right? I could do this for each one. Actually, I could even warp this all the way down here, warp this all the way over here. Do you see what's on there? Like there's actually handles that I could edit as well. So I could make this a lot smoother. This part right here, bring it down. This part right here, bring it down. This part, you could do multiple as well. Click here, hold shift, click this one, and now you pull them down together. Now I just want this one, so click on it, and then do that one, right? It looks very custom to the dog itself. I'm gonna just adjust some of these things so it doesn't look weird right there. And right there, it actually looks good. There. Now it's exactly set up as the dog is. It gave that same kind of edge right around the dog. It's purposeful. This isn't by mistake, it's a design, right? And the next thing, I'm gonna bring this text box down. Here you go. For you guys, you might have a box that's perfectly flat, right? It doesn't have to be adjusted to the dog or anything like that, or a person. For me, I do have to adjust it. Now, I do want to come up with a subheadline, which for me, I was saying I'm going to do a subheadline that is a short sentence about the dog. So I'm going to put, he's Rocky because he's space a champ, right? Period, right there. So I have this, and now I could change this to be solid black. I can make it to be any color I want, and any size I want, any font I want. So I'm gonna double click on this, make it white for right now. There it is. Why is it doing that? I don't know. I'm actually gonna change my font to be Helvetica because I think that's having problems with that font, but there you go. He's Rocky because he's a champ. I'm gonna make it Helvetica bold actually. Instead of light. There you go. So remember, the headline is the most important thing. The second most important thing is the subheadline. So subheadline is second biggest thing on there. And it's gonna stand out a little bit. The text, I'm gonna do it as black. Now, here's the thing. I want it to adjust, but obviously it's flat on this side, flat on that side, flat at the top. I want it flat at the top. I want it flat on the left, and even flat at the bottom. But I don't want it flat here. I want it to contort to the actual shape of the dog. So there's a few things we could do. For this one, I'm just gonna show you guys just how to do it with the pen tool, right? Notice everything is aligned, like the end of the R, the beginning of here, right here, everything is aligned to that little 1/4 of an inch around. And now I'm gonna select the pen tool right here. And I'm gonna create points within there because the square was just 4 points, but now I'm adding points in here that I will edit in a second. I added 3 right there. Now with the direct selection tool, I could click on this one, hold shift so I could keep the top square like perfectly flat. And then I could click again with the direct selection tool over here and I could edit this. It's gonna change my text box to be a different shape. And my text is all gonna be adjusted to be within there. All right, now I'm gonna hold shift and pull this one. But the thing about this is that it's really jagged, right? It's very jagged, those lines. Now, I could change it to not be like a 90-degree or 45-degree angle, right? I could make it to be smooth with the anchor point tool. I'm gonna click and pull. On this one, I could click and pull as well. And then on this one right here, I could, actually, you know what? I wanna do the other one. This one right here, I'm gonna click and pull. There you go. Click on this one. I should have kept this one flat, but there it is. All right, now my text box is really contorting, oops. Now my text box is really contorting to the shape of the dog itself. Maybe right there, right? So whatever I put in here will actually go with the shape of the dog. Now, you do want to put a small paragraph in here. So for me, what I did, I looked up the lyrics for Eye of the Tiger, because when I think of Rocky, I think of that. And I come into Illustrator, double click in here, Command V, and then I could change everything about this text. I could change the character, I could bring the leading a little bit more, I could change the tracking on this to be a little bit more, the size of the text, I can make it less, change the font instead of bold, I can make it regular, right? And that's it. At the end, you will be adjusting a lot of these things, but there you go. You have the headline, the sub-headline, the body copy, you have the image in the duotone. And now that I'm looking at it, black doesn't really go with this, so I'm gonna do I for eye drop, select that same blue, and there you go. Have fun.